Okay, restarting our recording here. Sorry, I think I messed up sound there on the live Twitch feed. So we're restarting. We didn't lose much information, just me rambling. Alright, so this is a Plex. We need 50, or sorry, not 50, 500 of these to make a subscription. Let's do the quick math. So right now it costs 1.4 billion ISK to buy enough Plex at current market rates to Plex your account. If you're starting off as an alpha, I suggest trying out the alpha clone first to see how much you get for free, because the way the skilling works in the game, you don't necessarily need to jump in there right away. A fully trained up alpha is basically capable to do, not necessarily do well, but capable to participate and be a contributor to a lot of activities in the game. But right now it's 1.4 billion ISK to buy enough Plex to do your game time. All right, we're heading back to GDub and go ahead and carry on with our stuff we're going to be talking about here. But hopefully I was able to answer your question there, Broken Mirror. That's 1.4. That's the most expensive it's been. Like ever. At least in a sustained fashion. I think it hit 1.4 for almost like an outlier like a year ago. But before the Plex split, it was like 1.2. Dang. I kind of feel bad about that volume stuff, guys. Sorry about that. I must have been going in there double. That's alright. It'll only get better. Incubus asks, VNI is a good deal at the moment. So I should probably date this. Sorry, but it's noted in there on the screen as buys of the week, but that's last week's buys. What I actually do is review the previous week's predictions that I had, and then carry on with my actual prediction after that. It was a good buy. And we'll discuss this, like, kind of the technical analysis behind it. It was a good buy. It really, really was. Unfortunately, I failed to capture any with my buy orders, so I moved on with other items. I had some other items that kind of what I thought was more attractive at the time versus VNIs, but they were. If you bought them last week and you sold them this week, you definitely would have sold them probably 7% plus, right around there. All right, let's head back home to Jita. Incubus asks, guessing you're a margin trader. If by margin trader you mean like I just flip stuff, I used to. I'm more of a I've slowed down my pace to just buying things at the peaks and valleys for the most part. If it's below average, I pick it up. If it's above average, I sell it. So my trades can last on the same items. You know, like right now, I'm still sitting on rattlesnakes. I'm still sitting on cinnaballs. I'm anticipating to sit on them for maybe another 2 months tops. So, yeah, I mean, in the end, it's still buying low, selling high, right? It's just my time frame has expanded. It allows me to be more successful in the long run, I think. Of course, that runs on the assumption that I don't need the money right now. Oh, being hosted by Lock Fox. Thank you very much, man. Appreciate it. How can I tell that from here? I don't know. There's some market news that I totally missed out on. I wasn't even aware of it. We'll go over all that stuff though. Since being back in Faction Warfare, I actually use these bookmarks around Jita now. You'd be surprised. I was kind of surprised how many enemy faction people were hanging out on Jita, even though faction police should have been attacking them. Eh, it shows how broken faction warfare is. Like much more so once you take it out of lowsec. It's madness, man. All right, we're home. Thank God. Give us just like, yeah, man. It's depending on where you are, you know, the rules change for combat. So, all right. So what you guys have? What you see on your screen here? These are last week's buys and sells, and we'll see how we did on them. First one we got is a Vexor Navy issue. Alright, so this is a 9-day view. Let's crunch this down to, I think the lowest is 7? Alright, so this 7-day view, that's good, a week ago, right? So I called this as a buy. If you were able to capture this at 60 mil, which was pretty possible based on the graphs, and sold it at the high, so we're living through the high right now for the last 3 days of upwards of 70 mil. It's pretty good. Tell me, how much profit would that have been? Actually, let's take a look at the table. 64 to 69, 60 to 68, 7 days ago would have been like right around here, the 61 mark. Yeah. It would have been around 87% profit before taxes. That's pretty good considering it's Navy faction ships. Navy faction ships tend to be a lot tighter on the margins because of the sheer amount of LP that you can earn from faction warfare. I definitely want to incorporate the faction warfare piece a lot more. A lot of people kind of think it's voodoo, I think, when they look at these things. All right, so that would have been a good buy. Would have been a good call. Push this back up to 90, kind of give us a more historical view. All right, next item we called out was Nano Factories. That's a P4 item, or P4 material. It would have been pretty short-lived. I would have called it right around here as the 5-day moving average was crossing above the 20-day moving average. It's not much there. Not a whole lot there. If you bought it and sold and just flipped it, yeah, it's not much. It went back too quickly. So that might have been a flop. I'll take that as a flop. All right, next item we called was a Crosslink Compact BCS. That's the Meta BCS. It's very similar. It went above average just for a few days and then went back down. So the trading channel that's in right now is the 2.5 to 3 mil, probably 2.6 to 3 mil range. That's still pretty good. I'm trading it at a channel. If that's your thing. Let's see how much that is actually. Right around 86%, so 14% before taxes. That's not bad. Good trading channel. All right, next thing we looked at was just observing SARS starting to go below average. We're still continuing to go below average. We're not quite sure. It hasn't quite settled on the floor yet. So we noticed it here. So it's below the 6 mil mark. It's going even further below. It's probably sitting at 5.5 right now. That's more realistic, considering that it's increased it's been increased in the loot table as far as the blueprints from the data sites. I'm kind of surprised it took this long to actually get to that point. Kind of strange that it took that long. But I wouldn't buy this yet. Even to flip, that's kind of dangerous, to be honest. Like I would kind of stay away from this unless you're comfortable holding on to it for a while. The only reason I say hold off based on technicals is just the way the 5-day moving average is actually trending downward, continuing to trend downwards, and the median price, the daily median price, is actually falling even below that line. So that's going to be the main reason I'm going to say hold off on pulling the trigger on this. Yep, definitely. All right, and our last thing from last week's buys is just another observe. Wasn't a whole lot of things I bought. Actually, I did buy a lot of things, but it was like after the show. Sorry, guys. At the time, prepping for the show, there was just nothing that was really capturing my eye. Let's observe Noxium. I think Noxium kind of just started being more normal after I called this. Sorry. It's still kind of trending down. It's plateauing, but it is reaching new lows. So it's not quite sure what it wants to do yet. It keeps bouncing. So unless you're super comfortable playing minerals, which I am not comfortable playing minerals. The sheer volume of that lends it to be a buy and hold type item. I mean, I am starting to kind of get to that point, but not quite yet. Like, I don't need to buy a whole lot for minerals to be worth it. That's why I do P4s. I don't need to buy that much for it to be worth it. I wouldn't buy this yet though. I wouldn't buy this yet. I think it's just hitting a trade channel. It just happens to be trending slightly downward. So that's me, my call on that one. All right, sells of the week from last week, Plex and Skill Injectors. So Plex, Plex is continuing to go up, but I think it's finally reached its ceiling at the 2.8 mark. I don't think it's got, well, I'm pretty sure it will eventually hit 3 million. Eventually. It'll hit 3 million, but we may have hit the actual ceiling of the price movement here. Which is fine. Now, does that mean, like right now I'm still sitting on some Plex. I'm still sitting on converted Aurum to Plex. Am I intending to sell it? No, not now. No. Not after it hit its ceiling. No way. Because it's already trending downwards. So I missed the boat on getting the best possible price. The best possible price for its current price action right now would have been when I called it last week. Then you would have reasonably been able to sell it at 2.8. Where's that right now? It's still at 2.8. And if you really want to sell it, that's the highest it's been in a while. Like ever. So it's a historical high. Can it go beyond that? Yeah, it can. I honestly believe it can. There's no reason not to think that. Especially with how underrated the skin trade is. Yeah, I definitely believe in it. Alright. Next thing is the skill injectors. This is kind of like information and then segue. So, in case you didn't know, I did not know. Skill injectors were actually broken up. They've been separated, they've been turned from, now you can get them as large skill injectors and small skill injectors. I'm going to put in a Twitch chat here. The link. So chat doesn't show very well on screen. Not sure how I'm gonna have to mess around with it. All right, but if you're, I'll probably put this in show notes when I turn this into when I upload this to YouTube. Probably the best way to do it. But now you have the option of buying large skill injectors, which is still trending upwards. It runs skill injectors run in parity with Plex. It's normal. But now you can also now break apart large skill injectors into small skill injectors. It's basically 1/5 of the effect. Not a whole lot of information since this is literally day one. So. I imagine that it has to run in parity. It has to. And if it doesn't, because of short-term price movements intraday, I see it correcting itself very, very quickly, to be honest. The same way that Plex extractors and injectors all run in parity, there may be a little bit of delay between extractors and injectors specifically, but for the most part, they run in parity over the long term. So it's just neat. I think that now you have the option of getting smaller skill injectors. I imagine people will, just because of lack of money, they would get the small skill injectors. But for those who, if you're thinking of buying injectors, I imagine most will kind of shoot for large skill injectors right from the get-go. So that's just me, because that seems more practical. So we'll definitely report on the small skill injectors as we progress through the weeks to see how it develops, but I imagine it running parity. Alright, so that was our prediction review from last week. Now I'm going to go over some recent transactions that we've done. So I was finally able to to sell the Stratios that I've been holding on to. I bought it for 195 mil, sold at 212. So that's a 9% profit before taxes. So that would have been equal to closer to like 7%. That's definitely above average for a short amount of time that I held on to it, which was a bit over 2 weeks. For pirate faction ships, holding it for 2 weeks is actually quite short. The price movements tend to go pretty for a long time actually, just because you don't see a lot of volume going through the market. So I'm pretty I'm pretty glad with that trade. It's definitely good. What else did I get? Wetware mainframe. I'm gonna have to mess around with the stream here. All right, the wetware mainframes. So this is the spreadsheet that I use for the wetware mainframes. I actually had bought the P3s from Buys and then fed them through my factory planets and wormhole. Total mat cost at the time was 1.9 per cycle, and at the time I was selling it. It was selling for 2.4 for a profit percentage before taxes of 21%. In reality, it was probably closer to like 17-15%. Because I was definitely chasing the P3s for a while from the market. I was chasing it for a while, man. I didn't get those. I didn't get enough of the P3s that I needed for like 2 weeks. Is that normal? Yeah, unfortunately it is. Unless you really time it well, where you straight up buy the P3s from sell, make the P4s, and then wait it out again. Ultimately you're still waiting. One thing I've done to actually not necessarily shorten the time, but just to keep myself more active, is actually buying P0s, running that through my factory planets to P3s in high sec, and then take that sucker to a wormhole to finish it off, where it's totally tax free. So I'm doing right now. I'm almost done with it, but man, it takes too long, man. I'm probably gonna can that operation altogether. Alright, and the last thing I want to show you guys for stuff that I've bought and sold completely, melted nanoribbon. I'm really pleased with this exchange. The main reason I'm pleased with this exchange was it's a buy to buy exchange. So I placed buy orders for the melted nanoribbons after seeing that it's trading below average after, I think at the time it was a 90-day low, and I pushed it back out to the market on buys. I just insta sold it for a profit. It was actually by accident. I was like mass selling things that I had in station, and I was like, where the heck did I those melted nanoribbons that I bought? I was like, oh shit, I actually sold it because I wasn't looking. And I quickly checked to see if it at least broke even, or at least not that big of a loss. But it was actually for a profit, surprisingly. So I got these for 1.3 mil a piece and sold for 1.4. So it sold for 9% profit before taxes. Blind. I'm so lucky. Oh my god. So lucky. So lucky. So lucky. So I'm glad that worked out. That's probably never going to happen again. Alright. So we went over skill injectors, the change there. Let me get this as well. I was not aware of this until like yesterday. Apparently, CCP went ahead and refunded all the Aurum that you have in your characters. So if you have characters that may have Aurum and you haven't logged in, go log in and check it out. I was wondering where the Aurum was coming from my trading account, but it was from the Aurum. It was from the Aurum that I had and never used, so that was cool. That was cool to have to it's a nice surprise. It was like 48 plex or something like that, you know. That was cool that they did that. It's just it feels good to be, you know, to get value for all the stuff we got. Even if it was free, you know, like something happened, I got it for free. It was in my account, like, and I could get something for it. That's how, at least how I think about it. All right, Faction Warfare updates real quick. Why is this important if you're a trader? To me, for my trading operations, it's important because it's so easy to abuse. So easy to abuse. So I'm using the same character that's trading in Jita is my main Faction Warfare character. I'm basically doing it like that specifically to gain standings. Just so that I have stuff to do in HiSec with my character. You know, to be a more well-rounded character. So I've been there for a bit over a month now. And it's super quiet. It's super quiet. Where the systems used to be where, you know, it'd be really crazy. Not so much. Not so much. So I don't know if that's a product of even more citadels being erected in LowSec that's open to everyone. So this, you know, there's no point in fighting for control of the station, fighting for control of the system. There's no point if you know you can keep your citadels a lot more reliably than the NPC stations. So that kind of sucks, because then that's one motivation that's just not there anymore, or not nearly as strong, you know. That is what it is. Let me show you guys. So I'm in CalMill, Alarm Militia. This is so that's Fuzzy Steve's tool for LP. Really great tool, man. Really great. I'm pretty sure there's others out there, but this is like the go-to. So, Fuzzy Steve, you the man. We're gonna look up State Protectorate. So that's the CalMill NPC Corp. Look at corporation sell prices. Just the filters here. All right, so starting from the top. Now, mind you, this is super skewed. All right, so do be aware of that. So you can exchange for 5,000 LP. So that's running one offensive Plex in CalMill, even at tier 1, which is the lowest. That takes 9 minutes, 9 real-time minutes, undisturbed. You can trade in that LP that you earn, plus 5,000, 5 million ISK. Turn in Ocular Filter Basic. Turn into this item in a high-grade Talon Alpha, which sells for 45 million. That's an ISK to LP exchange of 6,394. I'm not even gonna look up this item in the market, because I can tell you right now, hardly anybody buys it. That's why the ISK to LP ratio is so high. It's not realistic as far as a consistent source of exchanges. A lot of these are really, really high. But what really captures my attention right here is the shield extenders. There's some volume in shield extenders. Alright, so that's cool, 3,000. Typically, I would start, I think it's fair to assume, to get 1,000 ISK per LP exchange. That should be the goal. Bare minimum goal. It's totally doable. Then once you start getting the 2,000 ISK per LP range here, these are things that does have genuine volume in the market. So worth looking into. Navy cap boosters. Yeah, everybody uses Navy cap boosters. These hard wiring implants, everybody uses them. Well, I shouldn't say everybody uses them. You get more action out of, like, say, +5s, +3s, right? Caldari Navy kinetic deflection fields. Caldari Navy medium shield extenders. That's definitely an item that sees volume, and you're exchanging it for 2,524 Iskra LP. That's really good exchange. So again, this is relevant to me as a trader because I have access to this LP farm. I've been in faction warfare since 2010. I know where the systems are. I know who lives there, or not necessarily who, but the types of people that live there. No offense to those who actually are faction warfare, but the war zone's really soft right now. It's super soft. So what do I mean by that? There's no motivation. There's no initiative. People would rather wait to fleet up than do something on their own. And that's where I come in and take that shit from you. Because you don't want to get off your station. I'm gonna take that LP. Thank you very much. Yeah, I don't know how else to put it. I mean, people these days don't care for. It's almost as if they're adopting very nullsec centric thinking into lowsec, where you have the whole war zone to kind of tend to, but they only look at a station, a citadel, a constellation to, like, oh, this is our home. Like, no, man, the whole war zone's your home. The whole war zone's your home. It is. Because that's your source of income, is the war zone. Like, what good does it do to hold on to your one station system with everything else has been flipped to the enemy? Makes no sense. So there's my little rant on that one. But I definitely want to. I'm gonna be referring to this website a lot. Right now, I have collected around like 30,000 LP, like, while watching YouTube. Hardly any effort. You know what I mean? Doing offensive plexing. You know what I mean? So people don't want to engage. So I'll take their LP. It's not a big deal. What do I intend to do with it? To be honest, I'm intending to do exchanges for faction modules, not so much ships. So once I gather more, I will let you know what I kind of start playing. Alright, let's get out of this view. Boom. Alright, sexy. Oh, investment group update. Dang. I go back to that same view. Sorry, guys. Alright. So, for those of you guys who were not aware, listening to us, watching us for the first time, I run an investment group. I don't lead it. I don't do nothing I'm not a leadership personality in there. I just use it the same way other people do. All right, but I kind of just want to show you guys the kind of things that you can get into on your own as well. You just have to be personable a little bit. Not socially inept. And you can do stuff like this. It's totally doable. So you can if you can communicate effectively with other people, you'll be able to do this. So this is done through our Discord. Let me I just linked our general room in our Discord. Everness. Oh, you know what? I could never get Everness to work for me because I was trying to do it with corporate APIs, corporation APIs. Never worked, man. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what I have to do. But I just linked in Twitch chat, guys. That's our Discord for our general room. If you're interested in investments and stuff like that. So basically, we have operators and investors. Operators, basically the folks who do effort to make money for you. Then you have the investors who part with their money to give to the operators in hopes of getting paid interest back, right? So as you can see from our operation types, now mind you, this is relatively like less than 2 months old. All right, this is a spreadsheet. The purpose of the spreadsheet is not to create super accurate accounts of everyone's transactions, because that's something that's actually that's meant to be for the operator and the investor. I just make sure that I give enough information to make the investors feel comfortable, that to give money to this guy, and that they won't run away with him. The reason we do that is because, you know, I'll say it. I think we had two, maybe three folks who just ran away with people's investments, like large amounts of money. But it was no way for us to really stop it because they actually completed some small investments from us. So what I'm doing now is just keeping tabs of people's history so that we can say, hey, this guy has basically taking into account reputation, right? Like real life reputation, real time reputation. Oh, this guy has 2 or 3 completed investment items. I think he's good to go to drop 10 bill like that. Like, yeah, I mean, look at the amounts that we're playing with here. 10 bill at a time, no less than 1 billion ISK at a time. I'm one of the cheapos that do 1 bill. Looking at the sheet, I'm one of the cheap guys. You know what I mean? So, in total, we got 49 billion ISK exchanged, and some of these items I've already completed. Predominantly, this is run or one of the favorite activities by our operators is doing buyback program. Now, what do I mean by buyback programs? This is basically so it's a nullsec thing. I'm pretty sure you can do it in other places, but it makes the most sense to do it in nullsec. So they belong to large alliances. Doesn't matter who they are, right? They belong to large alliances. I'll keep it at that. And the members of the alliance, of that coalition, like, hey, I would like to take my stuff back to JITA, but I'm too lazy. I'm just going to sell it to you for lower than JITA value because I'm paying for convenience. And then I'll be done with that transaction. The operator will then take those items which he has now acquired for less than JITA buy and then resell it to the market or reprocess it, do production with it, whatever. And that's how that works. That's actually, if you notice here, that's actually just one guy's buybacks. I'm not sure if he's expanded to other things, but it kind of falls under his buyback program. And as of last week, we actually had a new operation from a guy. Basically, this little social group has allowed one of our guys here to actually purchase a supercarrier. So you got 2 dudes. You have 2 operators that run on supercarrier routing. We're funding supercarriers for these guys, which are, for all intents and purposes, strangers. But we've developed, kind of working relationships with these people, and people have become comfortable parting with small fortunes, to help them out and get paid in return. So really a really good thing. So yeah, if you guys are ever interested in just knowing about it, let us know. Brew Crow and Vega Navarre says interesting. That's pretty awesome. Oh, hey, thank you very much, man. I really want to expand on this item because I mean, I'm not getting a car on anything. I'm just a dude that lives in that Discord. That's really all I do, you know. Brew Crow says definitely tempted. Have a bit of liquid at the moment, and I'm not patient enough with market orders. Yeah. I mean, and that's where, and I also keep I keep stickied in pending operations that folks have. You know, I need is X amount of money still to do this, but then for the most part, it's you having a one-on-one interaction with investors and operators, because at the end of the day, it's your money, it's your operation, it's your reputation. So there's that. Yeah. And the one thing that really, oh, Vega Navarre says, found your channel after playing Valkyrie for a year with 1.5 General Quantum Delta. Oh, okay, cool. Hey, thanks for being here, man. Appreciate it. I've always wanted to try Valkyrie, man, but like I just don't have the gear. I don't have the VR stuff. But yeah, we'll see, man. If you guys are ever interested in this stuff, let me know. I'm not the only person that does it, by the way. There's a lot of stuff like this happening in the forum. Oh, and Chester, bless him. Chester's a good guy, dude. Good guy. Alright, I think. Yep, alright, we can move on to our picks of the week. Current week. Oh, the Chester meme. He's a good looking dude, man. But when he talks, man, it's like he's just dripping with knowledge, dude, and confidence. All right, now we got our current picks. Oh, perfect. All right, so this is thing that I would recommend buying this week if you have the ability to. You know, explain the technical analysis, the graphs part of why I think they're attractive buys. So let's start off with the Nightmare. All right. Man, I made this list yesterday too, and it already is like it's almost as if it's too late. But at the very least, we'll look at the knowledge part. So why am I saying it's a good thing to buy Nightmares this week? Looking at the graphs, it's below average, recent average. All right. So it's trading at. It appears to have found a ceiling at around 320 million. But that's a below average mark though. So if you buy it now below average and then sell it once the blue line is the 5-day moving average. Think of the moving average, the 5-day moving average specifically. There's always a number of days attached to it, right? So think of it as for the last 5 days relative to the particular spot you're looking at. This is the average price, right? That's usually coupled with another. Oh, hey, Veronica. That's usually coupled with another moving average, usually of a higher number of days. All right, so you're making a comparison between short term, short view, long view. If the shorter moving average is below the longer moving average, that tends to be a buy signal, or not necessarily a buy signal, but it's below average. You're getting it on sale. Think of it that way. So Nightmares are effectively on sale right now in the short term. If it can come back up to close to 400 million, as the history of the graph suggests. Let's look at the actual price. 335 to 379. Let's see if we can just flip that, see what happens. That's a 12% profit before taxes. Just for a straight up flip on a Nightmare. and that's actually registering as below average. Now, if you're listening to this stream in post, this might be too late already. So if you're one of our viewers right now and you got the money, I would totally pull the trigger on Nightmares. I would totally pull the trigger on Nightmares. I myself personally am tapped out. I don't have any spare ifs to move right now, so I cannot actually act on this. Now, why the demand? Why the added demand on the Nightmares? Providence uses Nightmares as it's a mainline doctrine ship for them, and I think there's only going to be even more conflicts around Providence, especially as we get closer and closer to the time when outposts magically turn into faction fortizars. Last I looked, Providence has a shit ton of stations. They have a shit ton of outposts, so something to think about. The defenders are using this en masse. Brucro says Sanchez space is also hot in terms of PvP, so less people run the sites, etc. So less Nightmare BBC drops. Okay, that's really good. That's good. You know, see, I don't live in Nullsec. I'm not too keen on kind of like the economy over there as far as like things like that. But that makes a lot of sense, though. That makes a lot of sense. So you have a squeeze in supply, but an increase in demand. So that's a good deal. And I mean, this is like a 45-day low. If you have the money, I highly urge you to actually, even if you fail to actually capture any at that low point, at least you tried. And if you don't capture any, no big deal. You lose out on the taxes. That's it. Or the order cost. That's fine. All right, next one is Dread Guristas Adaptive Invuln. I actually already acted on this. I kind of feel guilty. So I totally pulled the trigger on this already. So I had bought this for 176, sold for 194. So that's 10% before taxes. That's really good. That's really, really good for a Dread Gurista item. Really good. And it was lucky, to be honest. In looking at the graph here, it's sitting in a very short-term channel between 180 and 200 million. That's a wide channel for a DG item. Super wide. So totally got lucky there. It's still sitting in that channel, and it's about to actually go above average here. So if you can manage to get it as close to 180 as you can, I think you're getting a good deal. I think you're legitimately getting it on sale. So I already had captured. I'll put a buy order for 5. I already sold 2, or yeah, flipped 2. So pretty happy with that. Next is a 5MN micro warp drive, the meta item. I had I put up an order for 1,000 units and actually captured all of them. Like in a day, maybe 2. I had bought this for 302. I can flip it right now to 332. That's 10% before taxes. But I think I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait until, because it's actually still registering as being below average pricing. I'm actually gonna wait for the 5-day moving average to cross the 20-day moving average. It's pretty reasonable to hope for 400K. So that's all. But will I be able to resell all 1,000 of them? No, not in a day. It's a long project. And I'm totally fine with that. I'm totally fine with that because I already have it. I'm just selling it back. You know what I mean? It's all profit from here on out. Because I got it like at its recent historical low. So I'm cool with that. So I'm just gonna hold on to it until it reaches until I anticipate it about to hit 400K per item. And that's probably we sell it. Next is Arbalest Compact Light Missile Launcher. Got 255. Same thing, I'm capturing it below average, and I'm just gonna wait. Right now it's sitting at 442. 442 to 479, see how much that is. If you were to flip it right now. I'm not, but let's see how much it costs. Uh, 8% before taxes, so that'll probably net like 96, 94%, somewhere around there. I'll hold on to it until it goes above average. So one of the things I kind of want to come across to you guys is Mix 1607 says everything I invest in the market, the prices drop. If you don't mind me asking, can you name like one item? Maybe we can review the graphs on it. And I've definitely been a victim of that myself. Just the excitement of it, like kind of like trying to figure things out, but you're not really seeing the whole picture. And having a plan, you gotta have a plan. You can't just when I was in straight up just flipping mode, just buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell. Yeah, I got caught a lot with that. I totally got caught a lot. Tronica, fuck geckos. I've been so close to getting burned on geckos, like really, really badly. Once it starts getting manic, I stop. As I say, lost call bill. Ooh. Yeah, I was playing geckos for a good while, but then it just looked super manic. Like there was no reason for it to be hitting like, was it like 70 mil or something like that? Crazy. I haven't played geckos in a while. A good while. I used to though. I should probably look at that again. All right, next one, observe P4. So one thing I noticed, if you're a Citadel builder, you're probably more keen on P4s than I am. Or should be. Should be. Right? But there's more than one that's actually looking attractive to buy this week, so we'll go over all of them. Not broadcast nodes. It's a pretty tight channel already, like 2.1 to 2.2. You can do better than that on other items, honestly. I'd start watching integrity response drones. It looks like it really wants to get below. There's a lot of pressure for it to drop in price. I'd definitely have a keen eye to observe integrity response drones this week. Manufactory, it's too tight. Too tight. Minx 1607 says I bought 10 billion nanopace. Holy shit. Just before the introduction of Armor Reps. Oh wow. You bought it at 32,000 ISK. Held on for a year. Price was 11K the whole time. Eventually sold. Oh my lord. I never manufactured NanoPaste, so I can't tell. I can't really tell. But if I can kind of use that as an example to make an analogy, because it's pretty simple to build, right? To make, right? The materials are really cheap. The volume of it per run is really small. I liken it to building Tech 1 frigates. The barrier to entry to build them just isn't high enough to really warrant a solid price for the completed product. And EVE's market seems to be in a state where it's a race to the bottom. Everyone is just outbidding each other all the way to the point of no profit, and they do it competitively. I don't know why they do it. I sure as hell don't do it, but a lot of people do. I think it's mostly because of lack of knowledge, or not necessarily for your operation, but you would think that people would do their work and don't price themselves competitively to the point where they don't have profit. Minx 1607 says, I thought with the new module AAR armor wrap NanoPaste would go up. It did. But I bet you the volume right from the get-go was already too high, and it was already immediately saturated. That tends to happen. Especially if it's like a new item or a new use for an item. People see it in CC, man, and they just boom, build it to saturation. It never fails. Because people are anticipating. I think it's mostly because of EVE's market. I think, especially if you're coming from a different MMO, maybe you're more used to markets that are stable is the wrong word, but very difficult to outproduce the demand. It's not the case in EVE. You can definitely get to saturation point very, very quickly. Jarnica says, I did that with capital modules, shield extender, etc. Thought they'd be more used than they were. Bless your soul, Jarnica. Holy shit. That's a lot of investment. Capital modules? No thank you. Nope. Alright, what else we got here? See, I'm sorry, guys, but yesterday as I was looking at these, they actually look good, but it looks like they bounced back. So I might have to take back Observe B-Force. They look different from yesterday. Or they looked like they were about to go down, but then they just bounced back up. Self-harmonizing power core looks okay. It's below average, but it looks like it's already pulling up. Not sure what that's all about. They tend to not react so quickly. So that's really strange. Mink 1607 is, I used to collect Plex at 250 mil, sold at 400. Oh, I remember that. I was still living in Derelict region when Plex first came out. Glory days, man. Alright, sells of the week. Mostly ships. I'm seeing going above average. As of yesterday. See how it looks today. Okay, Stradio. I managed to sell some Stradio, so yeah, it's above average. Above average. So you can get close to, I guess I made like 99% before taxes on that. Next one's Garmer. I haven't seen anyone fly Garmers in a long time. Oh man, look at that. It was ready to break up and then it got slammed back down. That sucks. That sucks. I shouldn't say it sucks. Think of it as an extended opportunity to get it on sale. Might not have much more time though. What's that? 56 to 58. It's consolidating prices. I'd actually back off of this. When the pricing gets super tight like that, guys, it's consolidating. It doesn't know whether to go up or down. Basically, it's a fight for each transaction to see whether that's that last transaction that allows it to cascade to one direction. Think of it that way. And rattlesnakes. I'm still holding on my rattlesnake. I can't sell it yet. Maybe it's the beginning, but it looks like it's very short-lived. As of yesterday, it was picking back up, so it is technically above average. If you were to have gotten it, what, at 340, between 330 and 340, and sell it for like what, 360? Yeah, it's slim though. It's slim, but it's above average. Ming 1607s. I did make a lot of IS buying and selling Tech2 BPOs. I researched them. Damn, I don't have one. Like I have no desire to have one. I think in today's Citadel world, with the job slots and whatnot, I don't think you can really make a profit out of owning Tech2 BPOs. I'm sure someone can validate what I just said there, whether it's true or not. But I don't think you can. I don't think not in today's market environment or station environment. I don't think you can. What else do they want to talk about? Oh yeah. This is another buy item actually, guys. I just made a quick note on my thing here. IFFA compact damage control. I bought this for $632. I'm sorry, 1.3. 1.3. 632 is the total there. And if I were to flip it right now, that's 10%. However, kind of same story. It's below average, so I'm going to wait for this to go back up. I think it's very realistic to anticipate it to go pretty close to 1.7, 1.75. Make 16 says this was years ago. Gave up on trading a long time ago. It's passive, you know what I mean? That's why I still do it. For me, it's the brain exercise. It's fulfilling when I do well in trading, as opposed to say PVE, where you should do well, right? That's the expected end goal. But for trading, it is a bit of an unknown, and I appreciate finding enjoyment in that unknown. What else we have in our show notes here? Yeah, it's been a quick thing here. We talked about all these items that I've been trading, guys, and then not instantly flipping them, just waiting for basically I pick my spot, putting buy orders, then I just do the inverse. Now I gotta pick my spot at sell orders. Moving away from instantly flipping trades and into more consciously placed sell orders based on technical analysis, which is what I've been doing all throughout the stream. This is basically to show you guys the technical analysis portion, the graphs and whatnot. But it's actually really cool reading about you guys' input as far as the fundamentals, the fundamental analysis, like why is the price going one direction or the other. All I'm really telling you is it's going in a direction, right? Ming 1607 made a lot of ISK tags, the ones you need to unlock extra rooms to unload for missions. I haven't heard anyone say that in a long time. I used to buy them in Vita and sell them in love for mission systems. That's smart. That's really smart. All right, well, I think that's really all I have, guys. Unless you guys have any more questions. Yeah, I don't have anything. I'm probably gonna go back to once I update my orders tonight. Upload this to YouTube and probably hang out in the Warzone. See if I can get up to 100k LP by the weekend. I'll be happy. Totally doable. Brew says, have you gone over injectors and mini injectors? Yes, I have. There's not a whole lot to talk about for mini injectors because it's literally just the first day. So literally like a 1-day graphic. That's it. That's all. That's all the market shows us. This is not enough information, but based on the historical relationship between Plex, extractors, and injectors, I imagine the small injectors will basically just run in parity with the rest of the crew there. There's really no reason for it not to. There's gonna be maybe like small manipulations intraday, but it's gonna correct itself pretty quickly. I mean, it's gonna take like pro bag levels of manipulation to really make it go anywhere, to make it go outside of that parity. What else? But yeah, that's really all I have. I was thinking of definitely doing more Eve streams. Oh, one thing too, forgot to link it. So for those of you guys who didn't see it, alrighty, see you, Minx. For those of you guys who didn't see it, that's the Blue Horseshoe Club podcast episode 1 from this Saturday. I'm going to be doing it again this Saturday, and not sure what our topics are going to be exactly, but definitely different sort of guests. So looking forward to that. And we do that under the EVNT banner as well. So same same setup. And thanks a lot to Apothemy from last week, really helping us with the technical stuff there. Skype was just not helpful at all last week for me. All right, well, that's all I got, guys. Thank you very much for being here, so I can impart some knowledge there and talk about market stuff. And right, Geronimo, Apothemy with the save, man. Yeah, so we'll be doing this again. So we do this every Tuesday, and I'm definitely working on better organization and graphics and whatnot to post information, so make it look like a real stream, not just like face cam with text. Stop Toy SXD says thanks for the market lesson. Anytime, man, anytime. And then if anyone's interested, I'll post my Discord link again here. So that's that's the same Discord for our operators and investors. If anyone wants to, stop by, talk shop, or just kind of interested in markets in general. You never know, you might actually run some alliance mates there, especially if you're in nullsec. Just saying. We run a very varied crew. Alright, well, thanks very much, guys. I'm going to cut the stream here and expect this to be up in YouTube definitely before I go to bed. Alright, cool. Well, thank you very much, guys. Appreciate it.